Yo, what's happening? Welcome to yet another episode of the All-Rounders SA podcast. Sound guy, gas betting horns, galok. These are manual horns. Yo, what's happening? Welcome to yet another episode. It's been a minute, but we are alive, as you can see. Myself and Nono Pongolo are alive and kicking. We've been a bit busy, haven't we?
Cricket season.
Yeah,
but it's summer of cricket.
Yeah, it's back.
It's
back.
It started, and when again it's nice because it's
Nons, how are you? What
were you doing yesterday again?
It's a lot of things, man.
No, yesterday. What was yesterday?
I was doing
Paga.
Yes.
Today, what are you doing?
And we're doing cricket today.
Today you're doing
First
cricket.
ODI between South Africa and Ireland.
Last Friday, what were you doing?
Second ODI between South Africa and Ireland.
No, last Friday.
You're
doing domestic.
Yeah, I was doing domestic.
It's busy. Boy. Must butter that bread.
Nonza, you good?
Oh, good. Good. But yeah, really happy. Cricket season has officially started. At least it keeps us busy. Finding the balance of us finding the red chair every now and then. I think just talking everything that's been happening, I think will be important. So really nice to be back.
And there's a lot that's been happening, especially in the cricket front.
Yeah.
The Proteas have been in action in the UAE against Afghanistan, now Ireland. Been a lot of hoorah about that, but I think we'll save that for the end. Domestic cricket is back, and I think that is the biggest point that we wanted to speak about today, because it gives us great insight on player development, who's doing what, how, when, and the future of South African cricket. So 3 rounds of the T20. No, there's only 1 round that's been played so far, but 3 matches in the T20 challenge. We did Lions Titans on Friday. I saw you strategically remove yourself from doing that game, but
what do you mean?
Yeah, when you were saying that last Friday, what you were doing, but you didn't say that I was also doing the same.
I even forgot to say you were actually emceeing the captain's launch as well. So that's goodness. How much was it? September was good. IRPs.
No.
IRPs alanyanga.
So Titans beat the Lions quite convincingly in that
hammered
first
the
game.
Lions.
Yeah. What stood out for me there, when you look at that Titans lineup, it's much more experienced, much more settled. There's a lot of guys that have played a hell of a lot of cricket in all forms of the game in that Titans squad. They are missing a couple of players, of course, due to them being with the Proteas, but what struck me with that Titan side now is that it's so much more settled than how they were last season. We're almost so accustomed to the Titans being perennial winners. Last season they didn't even win one trophy, which is something that they obviously have to rectify this season. And it shows with the signings that they've made: Rulo van der Merwe, Andile Pechlukwaya, Keegan Peterson, Jedley van Breeses, who I think is gonna be very massive for them. But you can see from the quality that it brought in that they mean serious business this season.
Yeah, I mean, I think the starting point of this season's domestic cricket, I think you must think last year we had the luxury of 2 rounds of the T20 challenge, and this year is only 1 round. So again, you kind of can't afford to start off slowly, which has been something that you've hopped on. The Lions has been kind of that team that starts poorly. But also what I want to speak about, I mean, I'm also involved in the coaching scenes, behind the scenes there, in terms of there's been a lot of chatter from CSA in terms of creating identity of how South African cricket how cricket in South Africa must be played. And obviously it's been a top-down type of approach where the Proteas kind of led the way in terms of how they're looking to play. And from that point of view now, there's been a lot of these coaches conferences and all that stuff where now the coaches get to to kind of also own that philosophy
Yeah.
and also start playing it. We saw it from the Warriors last season, which
Yeah.
was really cool. They played a very dynamic brand of cricket, which is exactly what we're looking for. And again, some people might not know, it's called artistic hunter.
Yes.
There's artistic hunter.
That's what it's called.
Artistic hunter.
Explain.
Okay, obviously that the artistic side is speaking to creativity.
Yeah.
You're speaking about each player owning their uniqueness.
Yes.
So the way you wanna, obviously you've got your own attributes.
Yeah,
quote,
yeah.
That demand
Your strengths. Yeah.
So you want to stick as much as possible to your strengths.
Yeah.
But also the hunter part now refers to South Africa. We tend to kind of be the team that has to have its back against the wall first and then react. Yeah. Where now they're saying, can we be proactive?
Yeah.
Can we start, be the first team that lands the that punch, using a boxing reference. So the proactive part is really important, because now if you think about how Titans played on Friday, very proactive, very dynamic, and the way that Keegan Peterson plays is very different to how Luandro Pretorius plays. But at the end of the day, it tied in together in terms of how they played together. It's very positive, very aggressive, and that's what I like to see now. I mean, we've seen the Warriors last season. I'm sure this season as well, we're going to see more of the Warriors, and the Titans have also now joined the party. And it's about other teams as well, finding their own version of being an artistic hunter. And again, I think we need to bring the crowds back for me. And the way you bring the crowds back is those type of games on Friday attract younger audience, attract people to want to come to the stadiums. And of course, it would have been nice if the Lions had a decent start, and then maybe if they were rolled out for 200, it still would be okay. So that's what I'm really positive about this season, is that if we can see more of those type of games and average scores going up and bring the crowds back, man.
What also helps is good wickets.
Yes, 100%. Oh.
What helps is good wickets. I mean, we saw a really good wicket at the Wanderers on Friday.
Yeah, it was a good game to miss as a bowler.
Exactly. So for me, we've been harping on about improving the state of domestic cricket. It starts with the surfaces. You have to create and cater surfaces that allows for that artistic hunter mentality and game plan, as you've put it. So I was really impressed with that on Friday, where the wicket was really good. The Lions played poorly on a very good wicket, and the Titans played really well on a very good wicket.
Yes.
What I enjoyed about the Titans, especially in those middle overs, is that they continued to attack. The change bowlers from the Lions found it very difficult to sort of adapt and slow the run rate down. They rely heavily on spin in those middle overs. Junaid Dawood wasn't able to get involved,
which is Lions' strength. I mean, the Lions' strength over the years has been, using spin in the middle overs. I did also go back in the past and said Pangiso, Leah, Pangiso, Bjorn Fortuin, Ngaba Peter Fortuin. So that's always been Lions' strength. So now it's being hampered by the nature of how, obviously, the Titans went about it. They were very aggressive against Junaid Dawood. So it doesn't allow him, and then wrecks all the plans for Mitchell van Buren. Didn't know what to do from that point of view.
What I also enjoyed, I mean, you spoke about Mitch van Buren and his plans being sort of tampered with because of the lack of control that he had in those middle overs. It sort of forced an extra bowling option that he probably wouldn't have used in Delano Potgieter.
Yeah, it wasn't used last season. Hardly used last season.
So you kind of look at him as more of a batting all-rounder than a bowling all-rounder. So... which was really smart from the Titans. That's the kind of cricket that you want to play. You want to force the opposition into plans.
Corrective gun.
Yeah, into plans that they didn't have before, but also are those backup plans from the opposition good enough to be able to bring the game back? And I think that's a learning curve for a guy like Mitch van Buren as captain of the side.
I mean, there's always going to be an issue when you are a successful side, because I mean, in football, you look at the Bafana squad, majority of the players come from Sundowns, and Lions last season won 2 trophies, and Ngaba Peter gets called up because now we're looking for a potential competition to Tabra Shamsi. You got Bjorn Forten, who's been very successful at the Lions for probably close to 6 to 7 years.
Yeah.
And now he's getting some of those rewards of being involved in the Proteas side. And who potentially can replace Maharaj.
Yeah.
So there's also that part. And then, of course, the experienced batters, Riza, Temba, Rassi. And Ryan Rickleton now is also a guy that, with Quinton de Kock not being around, is now being given an opportunity to kind of stamp his place there in that Proteas side. So again, the Lions being successful over the years now is giving opportunities, which now leads to the depth of the Lions. How good is the depth? How good are the next batch of young players coming through? And yes, I mean, you are involved in the domestic scene and club scene. We know how talented some of these players are, from Connor to Mose, etc. We know these are the guys that are scoring runs really well at club level. But now it's about the step. Because at franchise level, it's we know that there is a gap from club level to franchise level. And now, not only the difficulty for Coach Russell Domingo is that he has to put all those guys together in one team.
Tough.
And kind of hope that one of them or two of them comes out well. So that's the difficulty now of Lions trying to navigate. When we watch on Friday, you kind of could see they couldn't really stop the tide. That's the difficulty now, where who's that one player? Just say, hey, guys, we might have a slow period here for an over or two, and then we get started again. So that's where the experience is required. But you can't write off the Lions yet, because, I mean, we've seen this move in the past where they sometimes start poorly, and they can still find their form. But -5 net run rate is it's almost like 2 points. For me, it's almost like 2 points. So that means they have to win like back-to-back games to kind of make up for that, and also still find a bonus point or two. So that's how difficult or how massive that victory for the Titans was.
Round one, it's obviously single round now, so we can sort of make an early judgment on which teams to watch and possibly make those playoff rounds. Titans look strong.
Very strong. There's still Markram, Klaassen, which I'm hearing they might be playing. I think they might be playing the Knights. There will be a round, which is, I feel sorry for the Knights for that particular game at Supersport Park.
So then they look strong. Plenty of quality coming through in there. Can't write off the Lions. Warriors started off very well
against the Dolphins.
A Dolphins side
away
that looks a little bit under strength. There's a lot of youngsters coming through.
Andile Semilani is back.
Andile Semilani will be back, which bolsters them a little bit. But they look a little bit under quality in terms of some of the big name players that could help them win games, especially games of T20 cricket. You need that star quality in T20 cricket to get you over the line.
I think when you think about the Dolphins, their success is predominantly coming from using home advantage. And that was the kind of my worry when they lost at home, because now
that was in PE though. They were played in PE.
Was it PE?
Yeah, they played PE.
Not Durban.
No.
Okay.
They played away.
Well, I was gonna say then, because they fundamentally get their wins at home, so not too bad. But obviously you need to get 1 or 2 wins away from home, which is obviously the main part. Again, I think there's a lot of youngsters that need to step up. We saw Bryce Parsons last year was massive for them. Kaya Zondo going to the top of the order is quite exciting. And of course we saw. Got 800,000 at the auction yesterday. Marcus Ackerman. He's someone who I've always found strange. Always a dynamic player, but found white ball cricket very difficult. I mean, he's amazing in 4-day stuff. So him, obviously, backing up last season with another really good performance would be very important for the Dolphins. And I think they definitely would have missed Andile Semilani, because you saw some of the performances in the middle order. There was a struggle. Guys were 100 strike rate and less. Andile Semilani would definitely add some firepower at the back end. So Bosch was very good,
Yeah.
helping the team to get to 100, basically 160s.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot to come. Obviously with the changes of the coach, but we know that mostly it's not going to change much in terms of how they look to play. So they'll always be a threat. Warriors will be a threat.
Yeah.
The Knights, a game that they should have won. They should have won.
Yeah.
Start the tournament well,
Should've.
because I am throwing the dice and saying, yeah, I'm backing some of the Knights there because of experience.
Yeah.
So the Northwest managed to pull that off, which was probably from the jaws of defeat and winning that one. So that's really good for Northwest. It's a really positive start. But like now, the Knights need to find a way to turn it around.
Top 4.
Oof. Okay, you're throwing me there. Definitely the Titans.
Yeah.
Has to be. I'm going to go Warriors 2. Because remember, we're using the SA20 format now, which is
qualifier,
eliminator, etc. That -5 for the Lions now hurts them. Yeah. I'm going to go
Knights.
Still going to go Knights, because I did throw it out there. But the fourth one,
Dolphins or Northwest. You're not giving Boland any chance here.
Yeah, it's such a young side, different side. I'm gonna go between Northwest and the Lions.
Okay.
And the Lions
to make those playoff places.
The top 4. But I think how the Titans have started will be interesting to see how they go on Friday against the Dolphins, because if they carry on with that momentum, then I think they'll be the team that everyone is chasing.
Okay, women's competitions also. Hollywoodbets Pro 20,
Pro
50.
Title sponsor.
That's massive.
Yeah,
Firstly,
title sponsor.
I think the Hollywoodbets coming on board as a title sponsor for those 2 competitions is massive.
Yeah.
It adds a professional element to
following up
the
last year as well.
Yeah.
Professionalism. Yeah.
So how much does it improve the standard of women's cricket?
I mean, you think about the significance of momentum coming to the Proteas women's side, how it has not turned that team around, but like given the credibility, performance, and the backing from corporate, how important that is.
Yeah.
And I think that the difficulty of the women's game so far has been the national teams has been professional, has sponsored sponsors, but like now when you think about domestic cricket, it's kind of been lagging behind. And since South Africa has lost some of the experienced players over the years, is like, how can you now fast track what is coming from domestic cricket to accelerate them into that Proteas team? Because I think there has been, some really good performances. Final in Cape Town 2020 or 2019, and there's been some really good performances in the T20 space as well. Is that how can you now assist? Because it is almost a new team. Obviously under Laura Wolfart, she's been really awesome. New management as well. So it's all about making sure that fast track domestic cricket.
There was little regard on the domestic front. Where they would literally take players that had potential to play for the Proteas women's side and put them in a high performance system, and then leave everything else a little bit behind. Now with the sponsorship, with a little bit of money, it helps everybody here to develop the same time to be able to have the same opportunities to get to that elite level, which I think is so good. When you look at comparatively, when you look at our domestic setup in women's cricket, and you look at the likes of England and Australia, who are the world leaders, India to a large extent as well, is that they have fully fledged domestic setups where they even have franchise cricket now for women's cricket, which is brilliant. WBBL, WPL in India, the Vitality Blast, the 100 in the UK. That just makes sure that everybody gets the same quality in terms of coaching, development,
100%.
to get to the England setup, to get to the Australian setup, to get to the India setup. And the Hollywoodbets Pro 20 and Pro 50 looks like it can give South African cricket that also.
And what's really important, like you said, it needs to be a high performance environment, because it can't just be happening at the national level, and you don't get the likes of Tane van Niekerk playing, Shabneen Ismail being involved. They don't have contracts, but they're still involved, and finding a way also maybe Maninyana that's there to say make it worth their while, whilst obviously they're playing some of the leagues as well. And again, it's that experience that they're sharing with the younger players, because that was my cry when South Africa lost all those players at such a short space of time, is that they weren't all now involved in the domestic setup. They kind of left, and it's that void of experience, just being
plugged
removed out of the domestic system. So the fact that she's around while Ayabonga Kaka is in the World Cup, but she will be now taking that mantle on and giving that experiences to players. And it's really important because, like I said, it's important that we accelerate, because I think, again, people forget there's a carrot as well, future carrot of SA20.
Absolutely. For the women's version.
Women's version. That you can't have that if you don't have a professional league. So there's obviously an eye on that aspect as well, is that if they continue to grow, and then maybe in 2-3 years' time, that then can be something that could further accelerate South African cricket, where now it's SA20 for both men and women.
Standard Bank. Hollywood.
You want Standard Bank's
Pro 20?
Maybe. Throwing it out there, putting it in the air.
That pro thing just takes me back to Standard Bank.
She's how old are you?
Hollywoodbets Pro
with the
20.
makarapa.
Yeah. Hollywoodbets Pro 20 and Pro 50. They're kicking off this weekend.
This
right?
weekend,
on the 4th of October. So hopefully we can catch some games. Go out and get tickets. Watch the provinces and support women's cricket.
Yes, I mean, what's nice, that CSA domestic leagues social media channel platform has got all the fixtures. You'll find everything there, so you can go there, find where the fixtures that are happening this weekend, and use that.
Catch $1 million also, this T20 challenge for the men.
Yeah, but there's also
if you're a student.
If you're a student. And you got to have a student card. Obviously, you have to be at the game. It has to be a televised game. And also, obviously, you must post and do other T's and C's.
Lots of T's and C's.
Guys, 100,000 towards your fees is nice, eh?
It's a lot. You also mentioned SA20 took place yesterday, that auction.
Yes.
A couple of nice signings that really I mean, the slots were limited per side.
The teams kind of knew.
They kind of knew what they wanted from the auction, because they had made pre-signings. What I loved about the auction, though, is that aside like the champions, Sunrisers Eastern Cape, makes a lot of smart signings. I was sitting and watching the auction yesterday, and when they picked up a guy like Okuhle Cele, I was very pleased. And then they picked up Richard Gleeson, which I was very pleased about, because it gives them plenty of options in terms of how they want to play their cricket, especially at St. George's Park. We've seen in the past 2 seasons how successful they've been with the kind of personnel that they have. Otniel Bartman's been really good for them. Daniel Worrell was very good for them last season. Similar
Abel.
type.
Abel.
Tom Abel. Similar type of bowlers, similar type of players. Skiddy, Rashu. They're almost wicket-to-wicket bowlers. Okuhle Cele is the same. Richard Gleeson is the same. Good pace as well. But that was my biggest takeaway from the auction, is how smart the champion is.
Rulof is back for the season. He wasn't there last year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he was massive as well for them. I think they're probably one of the smarter signers, because it's not always just about names for them. Like you said, you start picking up certain trends with like Skiddy, Loish, because they know where they play for. Half of your games you play at Gqeberha, and coastal wickets, skiddy.
Yeah.
You have to be at the stumps, and also I think personnel in terms of the types of people they bring into the environment.
Yeah.
I think they are very clever in terms of. You probably say they do a lot of work behind the scenes,
Yeah.
probably asking what type of person you are before they get you in, because unfortunately in cricket, a squad of 17, so that means 6 guys are not playing.
Yeah.
And what type of people are you, or what type of person are you when you're not playing?
Yeah.
And I can tell you, as someone who's played, there's some really difficult people out there
Who don't get picked.
who are, when you don't pick them,
Yeah.
they just almost take
Terrible.
energy away from the team.
Yeah.
And now that I'm on obviously when you're captaining and all that stuff, you become very aware of the types of, characters that you have, and how much attention you must spend, like a coach, before you announce the team.
Yeah.
Make sure you spend time with that guy.
Yeah,
He must understand what the plan is. Know that he might not be playing this game, but next game, which could literally be in 2 days' time, he's playing. So he can't be down just because this one particular game. Like,
And you have to be truthful as a coach.
no,
as well.
100%.
Yeah.
I love honest coaches. There's some many. Hey guys, if I could tell my stories, I don't think it's the day now where I open up those kind of works.
We'll save it for another episode.
Yeah, when the honest coaches are always the best coaches, because they don't lie in terms of why you're not playing. They go straight to the point.
And 80 barrels.
And one of those, and it's so important for player, because sometimes I watched I remember in SA20 last year watching some of the dugouts. I'm like, I know that guy. This guy is not happy because of I've played with him. I understand how they behave when things are not going well. So it's very important. And again, because it's the big tournament, everyone wants to get a taste of being, playing in front of the crowds and making a name for themselves. So there's also that element now. And we mustn't forget, O'Neil Batman, without SA20, we might not, we are involved in the domestic scene. We knew about O'Neil Batman. But the fact that he's put those performances at an SA20, he's now a Protea.
Yes.
A fully fledged Protea. Now people are like, he should be in every Protea squad.
So,
and that's the importance now of the SA20, is that guys are seeing that if I can do well there, Ngaba Peter now is there. Now, obviously, yes, he didn't have as many games last year, but there becomes an expectation now that you can actually do that at a national level. So it's really important, and guys, are looking for those opportunities to kind of showcase what they're about.
I want to look at some of the
Reza Hendricks.
4.3 million.
4.3.
Yeah, 4.3 million.
Yeah,
Big
Reza.
payday for Razzle there. Which was an interesting buy for me, because he obviously got released by the Joburg Super Kings into the auction. And sometimes that's a bit of a risk, because you don't know if you're going to get picked up at the auction, how much money you're going to get. But it's also strategic as well. Yeah.
If you find form at the
right time.
Wait, you see that partnership with Rickleton? It's just making noise at the right time. Because I remember the same thing with Donovan Ferreira. He had scored, I think, in a warm-up game, as the SA20 was about to, that week, Titans, and he scored like a massive, quick fire 50 just before the auction, and it kind of changed his life around, so that form. And I think what's amazing, mustn't forget, Ryan Rickleton and Reza have been opening the batting for the Lions for a very, very, very long time. I think since 2018. And they found themselves opening the batting for South Africa now, and also now going to be together at MI Cape Town. And also, Reza, Rickleton, and Rassie, basically all three of them now are going to be around the same team, national team, Lions and MI Cape Town, which makes it quite fascinating and interesting. How is Reza going to open with Rickleton, or because Rassie was opening last season, what's going to happen? Or Rassie going to move down to 3? What happens to Brevis? So, interesting, but Coach Robbie is always quite shrewd in terms of how he does his signings.
I want to focus a little bit on some of the rookie signings from each squad. Pretoria Capitals have a youngster called Keegan Lyon Catchett.
Cachet.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, he's a wicketkeeper batter.
Yes. I've seen him play a bit of Lenasia Premier League, LPL, for the Bank All Stars, I think
It's
it
Tux,
is.
no?
Yeah, Tux for the Bank All Stars. Very good cricketer. Hits the ball a very long way. I think the rookie signings are such a great, sort of addition to any franchise league, because it gives those younger players an opportunity to sort of like learn, but also make a name for themselves.
Yeah.
We've seen it with Adievo Brevis in the IPL, in how much he learnt there, and trying to sort of work out his game at an elite level. So Keegan Lyon Cachet is at the Pretoria Capitals. The Paul Royals have. I'm trying to see now. Is it
King?
Which one, JP or?
I know there's CJ, and I think first of all, the winners of the auction last year was
they've got Dewan Murray.
Devil Murray, which
Dewan
is
Murray at
Easton's.
Yeah, Easton's.
But I think he is actually a Titans player, but I think maybe just been given to Easton.
Yes.
What a interesting cricketer that boy is. He can hit a long ball. Donovan Ferreira-esque type of player. So it's going to be interesting to see him. I think as well.
Gunfielder as well.
South Africa are always looking for those 5, 6, 7 type of cricketers. And to have him involved, I think is really a good thing. Massive prospect, because he also was with the National Academy in Zimbabwe. So Titans obviously always try to Tasneeves being smart. Kwena Mapaka, you got Luandro Pretorius, and now
Murray.
So
all
kind
played
of like,
for the same under-19 side.
Keeping that South African future together there. I'm really excited by the Kings, by the way. I'm not sure which teams they're playing for. CJ Christopher King.
So JP King is at the
Durban.
Joburg Super Kings.
Joburg.
So
I know they were looking for him last year already, because there was chatter last year that he might actually come as a last minute type of, because they weren't happy with what they had. And the start that he had already in batting 3 for the Warriors, it's really exciting. What a loss, man. I'm sorry, I'm going to go back to domestic cricket a bit. I'm not sure what Northwest has done. It kind of upsets me because CJ was at Northwest. He was studying at Paka, and coach Robin. So he actually went to Limpopo, won the Division 2 T20 with Limpopo under Gordon Parsons, and then CJ was also a rookie at Northwest. Both of them were allowed to leave. St. John's boys, massive prospects. But like for a place like Northwest to lose those type of players, for me, it's
an injustice.
Like what are you doing? One is an all-rounder, good pace. Obviously CJ can bat at the top, very aggressive. Really liked to manage to get both those brothers at the Warriors. Robbie did really well. So they'll be really good to keep an eye on.
So your CJ's at the Durban Super Giants, JP is at the Joburg Super Kings. Tristan Lees, young fast bowler, originally from Pretoria, now plays his cricket at the Dolphins. He's been picked up by MI Cape Town. Good pace. Still very raw. A lot of people say, and I've seen it as well, because I did the Under-19 World Cup, in which he played in. He reminds me of a Dale Steyn. I didn't want to throw that in there, but I mean, I was there.
Throw Under-19 World Cup there.
But he's still very raw. Like he reminds me of a Dale Steyn when Dale Steyn started. For similar action, all that pace, but still a lot of refinement needed in his game.
I mean, he's an 18-year-old, 19-year-old fast bowler. even Kagiso Rabada at 18, 19 is a completely different bowler to what he is today. So, but again, there's no substitute for pace. The games that he played for the National Academy in Zimbabwe, you could see when he was playing because he will have impact up front. But again, I'll go back to the Dolphins. Probably one of the smarter signers. The Dolphins are always looking ahead.
Long term.
You think about Dupav, probably his future, replacements. They've got him in straight out of, probably had to wrestle a few sides to get Tristan Lee to come to Durban. So probably would have showed him the plan because when they lost Mutasami, they replaced him with Parsons. So they're always thinking ahead, the Dolphins. So it's really shrewd from them to obviously manage to get that. And I do think the ceiling is very high for the boy. Of course, you've got Quinton Friend, who's a bowling
former fast bowler.
Yeah. He will be working with him. And again, I think the fact that he bought into the vision, then he would have kind of understood what the plan is. You might not necessarily play every game, but like this is the pathway for you to play for the Dolphins, and the fact that he's already playing in the National Academy kind of already speaks to his potential. So it's exciting, but again, I don't think it's someone who's probably going to play every game. But like I said, you can't replace pace, and that's what is exciting for me.
Daniel Smith, Sunrisers Eastern Cape. Left-handed batter, Western Province. He's also had quite a bit of work done on his technique. I remember him working with, I think he's still the batting coach at Western Province, Kasim Adams. Just to make sure that he opens up all the options and not just be dominant on the short ball or hitting through the leg side or the offside. He's now seemingly like the Daniel Smith a lot of people would have spoken about coming through from the Cape Town ranks. It's an interesting buy though, because I mean, he hasn't. I haven't seen anything from a numbers point of view, from a performances point of view, that says that Daniel Smith can be picked up as a rookie player in the SA20.
Yeah, that's the
thing. It's a tough one.
This is a nice part about it's a rookie. Because, like, again, there's no expectation per se. To play. But again, he's a batter, he's a keeper. Maybe looking at a keeper type of cover situation is important. But also, I think, funny, when I think of him, I think, kind of very limited, you're correct. But at the same time, I think of Travis Head because he just plays in awkward places. In the field, like, when you played against the guy, you think, we're going to get him. But like, he just slashes you in weird areas. Before you know, he's
on 50.
He's on 50. I mean, he scored 100 against us in a 4-day game many years ago, Northwest. And I was like, this guy just doesn't look the part. But like, he was hammering us. Interesting, different. But I think you'll probably find, obviously, the wicket-keeping part as well is kind of the cover. You said what team again? He was
Sunrisers Eastern Cape.
Sunrisers Eastern Cape. Who are the keepers there? I think potentially Stubbs. Is Marquez are there this season? Rosington. No. So maybe as potential backup to Stubbs as a wicketkeeper.
Interesting squads though. Really
awesome.
Stuff.
Awesome.
99 days to go to season 3 of the Betway SA20. So that's a lot of things that we can look forward to. Do you want to talk about Proteas, or we should leave it for another day?
No, let's wrap it up. Proteas, because Island tour just wrapped up the T20s.
Do you know what I wanted to say? The point that I wanted to make about the Proteas is that, a lot of people, obviously now, it's something that always props up when the Proteas don't do well. We lost the ODI series to Afghanistan. We lost the second T20 of 2 against Ireland, and we drew that series. So a lot of people now will obviously say, but this Protea side, the talent that's coming through, if you remove the top layer of the talent that was already playing for the Proteas, the underbelly is weak. It's a consequence of domestic cricket, wada. So the point I wanted to make was that it's such a short-sighted thing because and cricket fans have a very short memory.
Yeah.
Not so long ago, the Proteas men's side was at the final of a T20 World Cup. Yeah. That says something.
Semi-final of a 50.
Semi-final of a 50 over World Cup. Yeah. The point is, for me, and we'll obviously make comparisons to rugby. In the Rugby Championship, Rassie Erasmus used 35 players. In 10 test matches this year, Rassie Erasmus used 49 players. So it speaks about the depth that they are creating in rugby. Yeah. Everybody applauds it. And I understand it because rugby continues to win.
And people will say the quality is different.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So cricket sometimes gets the raw end of the stick because maybe people expect them to be as successful as rugby is, which is fair.
We're a winning nation.
Yeah, it's a fair.
We're a winning nation.
Very much fair expectation. Yeah. But people don't understand that
what it takes
to get there. Sometimes it's not always results driven.
Yeah.
I think somebody brought up a stat about Rob Walter and the number of white ball series that he's lost since taking over as coach.
Yeah.
He hasn't won a lot.
Yeah.
But when you're focused on just results and winning and make sure, Rob Walter could have picked David Miller, he could have picked all the frontline guys to be able to win that series against Afghanistan, to be able to win the series against Ireland. But what are you going to learn from that? Like, you're not testing the guys that are coming through. And some people are saying, well, the guys that are coming through are not good enough. How are you going to know if they're good enough if you don't let them play in an environment that is as high as international cricket? So for me, I think that was the point that I wanted to make about the Proteas men's side, is that I think fans need to understand that when you're trying to build depth, you're not always result driven. You're not looking to win every game that you play. It'll be nice to win them, but it's not a prerequisite of making sure that you develop players for the future. And 2027 is not so far.
Yeah. So the difficulty of the cricket space compared to the rugby is that it's these leagues now kind of are dominating in terms of selection, right? Because let's be honest, it's the players want the opportunity now to both represent the country and also be allowed to play in these leagues, right? And these leagues are popping left, right, and center. It's not like rugby where you say these are the seasons. The national team plays in these phases, and all the other club rugby happens in between. Right now in cricket, the national team and the leagues, they're all happening around the same time. And now, as we know, Irendi week, guys, when you compare it to the dollar and the pound, there's always going to be a better place to be as a player than be, unfortunately, representing your country. And now, as Cricket South Africa, they have to make a call. Do we become so strict in terms of our rules and lose players? Or do we say, let's be flexible. Let's allow Quentin de Kock. Let's allow Klaassen to go there. But when we need them in the important series or leading up to a Champions Trophy, to a T20 World Cup, we'll get them back. But when we get them back with the experience of playing all around the world. Because one of the reasons South Africa did well in the India World Cup, because we had so many IPL players. We can't forget that part as well, which adds to the South African team. So at the moment, when we're losing matches without them, we say, "Oh yeah, but they're not around." But at the same time, when we win, we know in the World Cup, we are happy because of those experiences that they've had. So it's a very tough situation that the DOC has to battle through, because unfortunately, we cannot match what the pound and the dollar do. But the difference now, when I compare to rugby again, is that when a Sasha plays, he's playing around experienced players. And that's where the difference is now, is that I would love for Kwena Mapaga to be playing around KG. I would love for Nokia, yes. I would love for some of the younger players, Smith, be playing around a Miller and a Klaassen to guide him through those middle overs, because then that's that in-match experience being shared. No, listen, it was a poor over. We didn't get as many runs as we needed. Don't worry, we'll be fine next over.
We can catch up.
And you catch up. So for me, those are the dynamics where it's kind of difficult for Rob Walter, where he has to deal now with blooding a lot of players by themselves, and that's the difficulty. And unfortunately, you're going to have fluctuations in performances because they're not experienced enough for those moments at that level. So that's where the issue comes from. And by the way, before I forget this point, blooding a new player should have happened still under Boucher for me.
Yeah.
So this whole process was delayed by, I don't know, 4 or 5
years,
because we were so obsessed back then of winning every series. We didn't allow guys like O'Neal Batman to come through. Nandre Berger did not come through
then when he was supposed to.
Then already. So this has been the issue of delaying blooding new players, because, like I said, like you mentioned, Rassi already said he wants to have a pool of 50 players
to be able to choose from.
The next World Cup. How do you allow yourself to have a wider pool of players? You have to give guys experiences. And unfortunately, development doesn't mean you must lose every game.
No.
But like, it's obviously the combinations of how you do it. Ngaba Peter, Kwena Mapaka playing with KG, playing with Ngidi, putting that combination together is very important. But for me, the likes of Rickleton should have been playing in the past already. What's his name? Warriors captain
Matthew Brest
should be playing already. But like, because we delayed that process, now it has to happen at a fast track situation. So that's where I go back to that.
Yeah, 3-match series against Ireland, ODIs starting today, second one on Friday, and then the third one next week. Nono Pongola, thank you for your time. Really appreciate it. I learn a lot from you. I don't know if you learn anything. I don't know if you learn anything
we
from
always
me.
Learn, Mama.
But I learn a lot from you.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's a really nice series. 3-1. Oh, 3-1. 3-match series.
3 matches,
with the experienced guys are back. So all the best.
Cool. Let us know also in the comments, like, subscribe. Of course, we've got some really nice news in the future on this podcast, so stick around. We'll be announcing those hopefully in the next few weeks. And the winners. We'll announce them. Yeah.
By the way, before we forget.
Yeah.
Don't forget your shirts, guys, on
Friday. Protea
Friday. You must support the women.
Women's World Cup, T20 World Cup is starting this weekend.
Don't forget your shirts.
Please.
They need our support.
Exactly.
Let's give them the love that you gave to the box.
Yeah.
Cool.
Catch you next time. Thank you very much for your time. And we are out of here.